After months of calling out former President Uhuru Kenyatta in what was seen as a war on subsector milk, tea, and coffee reforms, it seems announcement by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta that is still going to remain active in Kenyan politics and by extension still play a role as the party leader of Jubilee Party did not sit well with Rigathi and William Samoei Ruto. Welcome to the Bold Analysis. I want us to have a walkthrough inside the Mungiki politics because this is emerging as the next narrative in Mount Kenya after the failed Mau Mau pitch. I want to start by making this statement and creating this. What the leaders think, what Ichun'gwa, Rigathi and UDA Mount Kenya chapter think is a narrative to blow out Uhuru Kenyatta from Mount Kenya politics is likely to become a trap for themselves and blow out to a full conflict between the youths and the leaders. And this is deemed to backfire. I'm saying we need to be very sensitive with the way we handle this matter. I still maintain my position that the trouble Njenga is going through is actually state-sponsored, and it is a clear using of the officers or other judicial system to manage politics, something that we promised ourselves a route we will not take. Rigathi is blaming Njenga on recruiting some youths into a Mungiki sect or reviving that group. But if you look at the charges he was facing, is that after conducting raid in his home, they allegedly said they captured some bank consignment. Then he's being charged on court. The charges are not so clear because they seem not even to be available. But it's just being moved after he was moved in Kiambu, in DCI headquarters. He was actually released on a free bond because he was not even charged. And if the Rigathi team are saying that Uhuru Kenyatta and Njenga are reviving that sect group because those youths are jobless, then what you need to do is to give them jobs. And I'm saying this might backfire because honestly, I want to tell you this is something being crafted. And it is being crafted for a purpose. I think Uhuru Kenyatta has maintained that they need peace. If Mungiki was to operate, then do you remember the time Raila Odinga in 2017, Raila Odinga was facing off with Uhuru Kenyatta, where the country was in some chaos? Why didn't he use it then? Now that, what is the essence of it? And this is a petty talk, according to me.
We have heard your fear and concern, and genuinely so, about the revival of that criminal gang. Let me assure you, the people of this region and the country, and indeed everybody, that the government will not allow the revival of that criminal gang. It will not happen.
On Mungiki politics, the endgame is as clear as day, is clear as sunshine. And there are only three objectives about Mungiki politics. This is a narrative that is being brought. And you know, Njenga comes from the other side, I think of Nyandarua, like if I'm not wrong. And after Rigathi Gachagua team started coming up with the Mau Mau pitch, it so turned out that Njenga was actually consolidating more youths than the number of youths that are milling or milling around Rigathi Gachagua. And if you ask me, what the state fears is that the profile, the increasing, sprouting profile of Njenga can be a critical factor to be put in when Azimio la Umoja will be striving to square the Mount Kenya factor in 2027. This is purely about the politics. And I was speaking to a gentleman just recently, and one of the things he was telling me, Kevin, here is that there are those who think within the government circles that Azimio la Umoja might actually change tactic and might not pick a Mount Kenya as a deputy president, or rather as a running mate to a presidential candidate this time round, but might actually float Maina Njenga to vie for presidency in Mount Kenya and from Mount Kenya and consolidate the youth vote. And it objected, saying that one of the things that is most likely going to happen here is, I don't appreciate the politics of trying to create cluster, because that person is going to vote for youths. Because if that was to work, that would have worked with Ojakoya to some extent. But Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto team seems to be looking at Maina Njenga as a threat because he can snatch the youth vote if he decides to go to the ballot. And so the whole charges about suppressing the image would also be targeting the mothers and the parents and the elderly community members of the society in the mountain. I want to play for you this clip, and I want you to listen to how Rigathi Gachagua is addressing the matter. It's coming amidst a fight against a local illicit brew. And I once said that the illicit brew is one of the things that really, it's one of the battles that is not going to be won today because of many other factors. They're trying to wipe the emotions of parents in the mountain to believe and create an impression that the problem is Uhuru Kenyatta and that the youths are being recruited in some sort of a sect because the government has the intelligence to intercept everything. I'll say and repeat, the intention of the Mungiki politics, the endgame number one, is to suppress the image of Maina Njenga because they feel that Maina Njenga can be a factor in Azimio politics as far as Mount Kenya is concerned in 2027, rather in the next general election. And so what they have decided is to wipe the emotions of parents there to create an impression about Uhuru Kenyatta, because I want to say this is a microphone hype. State has the intelligence and the resources and machinery in their disposal. If indeed Maina Njenga is recruiting youths under that Mungiki sect, then what you should have done first is to get some few, 10 or 100 or 50 that has been recruited and send them behind bars. That is what we should be seeing, not even Maina Njenga, because this is not about those people. And that is why I started by saying it's deemed to backfire, because if you're saying these youths are getting recruited because they don't have jobs and that is what is being exploited, then you need to give them jobs. If that exactly is it. And I think the state needs to be, government needs to be very sensitive on this factor, because after realizing, and that's my second bit, the second end game, after realizing that the euphoria in the mountain is going down, and there seems to be a lot of resistance that is coming because the people are realizing that the hustler agenda, the hustler nation story that was planted there has turned out to be a long con. And the region is revolting. What is about this is to establish Uhuru Kenyatta as the second battlefront. And what is to be created is for the people to believe that Uhuru Kenyatta is a problem, is still a problem, even the fact that he's out of power. And on this one, I got it from Ichun'gwa, because Ichun'gwa seems to be saying that Uhuru Kenyatta is the one behind everything. And I'm saying this because the reason why they're going after Uhuru is a big machinery in any election, whether he's vying or not. As a former head of state, he has a lot of stake and a big voice in a big pocket, in a huge pocket. And they believe that he's the person that can also consolidate and regroup against William Ruto. So because he has decided to remain active in politics, they do believe that whoever is going to be Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto's competitor, will most likely have the support of Uhuru Kenyatta. And the mountain have started asking themselves whether Ruto is better than Uhuru. The finance bill is going to pass. They're going to buy their way through it in parliament. And Kenyans gonna feel the pinch. The tragedy here is the mountain is being told that it is about Uhuru Kenyatta. And this is just a continued. There have been a lot of, we are going to neutralize the milkman that collapsed. I don't know, we are going to Shamba, that did not get its way. So this is one, and I want to, get a soundbite from Ichun'gwa on this matter, where he was trying now to break it down, calling out Uhuru.
Uhuru Kenyatta, if you are not financing Azimio demonstrations, you are now recruiting a new special purpose vehicle for violence in the name of mobilizing a new Mungiki gathering. And we saw them on Kiambu Road the other day. Na sijui kwa nini watu wanaogopa kutaja. Na nitamtaja leo kanisani. And I have said it before, when I said Uhuru Kenyatta was financing demonstrations, nilimwambia if he doubts me, anipeleke kotini, koti zimefunguliwa.
Now if you listen to what Ichun'gwa is saying, it's about Uhuru Kenyatta. There is nothing else. It's about calling Uhuru Kenyatta. And I think there is something like creating a blame reason for Ruto's faltering start. Because Ruto's first term has turned a huge nightmare. We actually have to agree on that. Things are not falling into place. And what the political media advisors around the UDA, they want to blind the voters by playing the personality politics, because they know if they have to face it through the plan, then they don't have a way. And I think the tragedy that befalls this country during elections is that during elections, we tend to put everything in our tail in terms of what Mr. Politician said, and look at what Mr. Politician is saying about politician X. We try to embrace antagonistic politics instead of looking at it this way. What does he have for us? What does he or she have for you? And the mountain is asking questions about, is this what we asked for? Is this the right deal? Are we getting a raw deal? The questions they are asking. But instead of those who are bestowed with the responsibility addressing that matter, they've decided to create circles around it. And the reason why the Mungiki politics is getting its way back is because we want to create our blame reason that Ruto is not is not doing his best because Uhuru Kenyatta is against him, which is a total lie. And truth be told, that is a total lie. And to know that, we are currently talking about finance bill, about the housing levy and the contents of the finance bill. The president is whipping members of parliament on the ruling party to pass the bill as it is. And they're moving, spending a lot of money on Sundays and Saturdays and the weekends, Saturdays, on churches, trying to ask and wooing the leaders to pass the bill. So, if they're already getting their way through parliament, and whoever is trying to object to it is called the names. But then you want to tell the people that Uhuru is distracting you, rather the Mungiki people are distracting your power. How? So how has Uhuru Kenyatta stopped your finance bill from sailing? If yourself, you've bought all the members of parliament you want on your end, and you can pass it your way. So I think on this one, Kenyans need to be very, very, very keen. And when I listened to Njenga talking, saying how Raila Odinga team went to his place at 4 a.m. when he was attacked. He raised the alarm that he was attacked. It points out why Njenga's profile is a big worry to the government.
Nikamwambia nimevamiwa na waizi na inifasi mheshimiwa baba walikuja 4 o'clock in the morning na walivamia nyumba 6 Nyandarua, Laikipia, Ngarua, Lavington, mpaka huko Mavoko kwetu kwa mheshimiwa Makau.
And I honestly believe that what we are doing, thinking we are targeting Uhuru Kenyatta, we are setting this country on a wrong path. The end game is about Uhuru suppressing the profile of Maina and also creating the blame Uhuru Kenyatta. But as far as we are pursuing those ambitions, we are not genuine because it is not what this country needs. Already there is faltering, the youths are not seeing the hope, and we are already charging the masses, creating emotions for no reason. That's my point. Let's meet in the next. And guys, I want to finish by first asking you this. For the last 28 hours, I was down, and I can tell you that life is a flick. Life is very fragile. Take a moment and just thank God for the gift of life. Since I came from home, yes, I've been down, and I found myself in the hospital. So within this month, I think I found myself in the hospital twice. And I can tell you that, you need to thank God for the gift of life. The fact that I didn't know I could come and even do an analysis. But thank God I'm back. So, let's thank God for the gift of life. That's my point.